officially finished Queen of Shadows. Good morning, everyone. We are going to be doing a reading vlog for this video, and I've decided that I want to do a reading vlog for The Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. I currently have it on a loan. I've actually had it loaned for about 4 days now, and so you can see I have Queen of Shadows right there. I can just open it. It's so exciting. I have 17 days from today to finish it, which I think will be plenty of time because I only have this book loaned currently, so I'm like in no rush at all. And I would just want to give a little bit of background of how I am tackling the Throne of Glass series. It really only matters because of Assassin's Blade, and there's so many different places you can start reading it. Some people don't even read Assassin's Blade at all, but I did read the Assassin's Blade. So the order that I read the books were Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, then the Assassin's Blade. So I just finished the Assassin's Blade last week, and for my thoughts of where to read the Assassin's Blade, I kind of wish I had read the books in the order of publication. And so there are 3 different ways of reading it. There is the purist read, where you can start with the Assassin's Blade, so it would be the Assassin's Blade, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and then Heir of Fire. Or there's the romantic way, where it would be Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, and then the Assassin's Blade, which is the route that I took because I wanted to go the romantic way, I guess. And then obviously the order of publication, which is the one that I wish I had done, was Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, the Assassin's Blade, and then Heir of Fire. And the reason I say that is because Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight should definitely be first, and after the Crown of Midnight, there's actually a natural pause. In that moment, while I was reading it, I actually felt it's like, wow, this is like a good ending point. It's like I'm about to go to a new chapter. And then she published the Assassin's Blade, which just makes so much sense. I honestly should have just read the Assassin's Blade in that moment when I felt it, but I was like, no, but the romantic way says to read Heir of Fire next. So I went to Heir of Fire, and I absolutely loved the Heir of Fire. And then I read the Assassin's Blade afterward, and then after reading the contents of the Assassin's Blade, I realized that it would have been so perfect to read after Crown of Midnight and before the Heir of Fire, because now that I've read the Heir of Fire and then I went into the Assassin's Blade, there are lots of things in the Assassin's Blade that kind of correlated to Heir of Fire, and Heir of Fire would have made a little bit more sense to me if I had read the Assassin's Blade first, because the Assassin's Blade kind of introduces different world building characters before we get to the Heir of Fire. But it's fine, honestly, it didn't matter. Like, nothing was like heavily spoiled. Everything that happened in the Assassin's Blade you kind of like already knew, but now it's actually thrown in your face and now you know for sure, if that makes sense. But yeah, so that is my opinion on how you should tackle Throne of Glass series. So I recommend doing it in publication order. Read the Assassin's Blade after Crown of Midnight and before Heir of Fire. It's not like a really big regret of mine, but that is what I would recommend. So let's get into this Queen of Shadows. I'm so excited because Heir of Fire kind of ended on a kind of adventurous note. From what I'm remembering, it's been a while since I read Heir of Fire. Okay, let's open it. I just got to chapter 5, and now that I've read what I've read, I guess now I'm thinking it didn't really matter when I read the Assassin's Blade, because everything that's happening in the first 4 chapters of Queen of Shadows is pretty much a recap of what happened in the Assassin's Blade. So since I literally just finished reading the Assassin's Blade last week, I don't have to think back on what happened in the Assassin's Blade because I remember it. So everything that's happening in Queen of Shadows right now is making sense. So now I'm thinking, if I had read the Assassin's Blade and then Heir of Fire and then this, Heir of Fire would have been most recent, which still would have made sense for Queen of Shadows. But then I would have had to try and remember what happened in the Assassin's Blade. Actually, I don't know. So I'm guessing it doesn't really matter, but I would still 100% prefer to read Throne of Glass first, Crown of Midnight first, and then decide between Heir of Fire and the Assassin's Blade, because it doesn't matter. I mean, I read them both recently enough to where everything happening in Queen of Shadows is making sense, so I don't know anymore. Just don't read the Assassin's Blade first, because I know that if I had read the Assassin's Blade first, I wouldn't have enjoyed the series as much as I am right now. Okay, let's keep reading. Good morning again. It's actually 2 days later from the previous clips of when I started this vlog, and I just got to chapter 20, and there's probably gonna be spoilers in this book, so if you don't know anything about the Queen of Shadows or any of the previous books, please do not watch this video. Like, just click off. I don't care, just click off. But anyway, I just got to the part where they finally broke out Adian from the kingdom. And I really hope I'm pronouncing these names right. Like, I'm calling her Aelin, I'm calling him Adian, Nesrin, Kaol, Dorian. Like, that is how I'm pronouncing their names. But anyway, they just broke out and they're kind of like in their safe house, safe place now. And like, these events are kind of a lot to take in for me at once, just because obviously Selena Aelin, she's an assassin and she's very good at it. And then now it's also bringing in the idea that she's also royalty. Like, she's literally the long lost queen of an entire province, country, whatever they want to call it, an entire like kingdom of people. And the fact that she is the long lost heir of a kingdom, and she was literally trained to be an assassin since she was 8 years old, I think is kind of cool, because not only is she a queen, but she's also like a massive threat. So anytime she does have to get rid of anyone, she can just do it herself. She doesn't even have to hire any guards or anything. Like, she will literally just do it herself because she can. That's crazy. That's cool, but it's crazy. And I'm still thinking about where I should have read The Assassin's Blade. And at this point now, I'm thinking it doesn't matter if you read The Assassin's Blade or Heir of Fire first. But I'm thinking because I read Heir of Fire first, I still feel like there was that random gap of like flip-flopping. Because the Queen of Shadows actually does recap what happens in The Assassin's Blade if you forgot. So if you had read The Assassin's Blade first and then read Heir of Fire afterwards, then the Queen of Shadows would recap what happened in The Assassin's Blade, so that way you could re-jog your mind or whatever. But because I read Heir of Fire first and then The Assassin's Blade, everything that I'm being recapped on in this book is very, very fresh in my mind, because I literally just read The Assassin's Blade. But now I'm kind of not really remembering what happened in Heir of Fire, because this book is not recapping what happened in Heir of Fire. It's only mentioning again the names of characters that we meet in Heir of Fire. So that's also why I say read The Assassin's Blade first, because this book will literally give you a recap of The Assassin's Blade, but it will not give you a recap of Heir of Fire. So hopefully that makes sense. So it's okay that The Assassin's Blade was read 2 books before this one, but it's not okay that Heir of Fire was read 2 books before this one, because especially now that the witches are introduced, I cannot remember who these people are. I can now that I've like read a little bit and I've gotten more into it and it's pulling from my brain again, but I was so confused at first, and I'm having a hard time distinguishing the different clans of the witches that are being mentioned. So that is my 2 cents on the reading order of Throne of Glass. Definitely read publication order. Again, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, The Assassin's Blade, then Heir of Fire, and then the Queen of Shadows. Okay, let's get back to reading, because we're only on chapter 20. And according to Kindle, we are 26% of the way through the book. But we have time for this loan still. I think I still have another 2 weeks to read this book, so that's good. And then whenever I get to about the 40 to 50% area, then I'm gonna start putting Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms on hold, and hope that I can find a way to borrow them at the same time, because I'm going to attempt tandem reading them. I did read a bunch of Reddit things online, and most people say to tandem read because one of the books leaves off on a cliffhanger, and then if you try to go to the next book, you have to go back in time to the beginning of what happened in the other one before you can figure out what happened at that cliffhanger. That would be unfortunate. I don't really know how I'm gonna approach this. I wonder if what's gonna happen is I'm just gonna tandem read until my loans end, and then I'll just have to re-loan them both. But then whenever one book is available, I'll just read that book until the other one is available, and then I'll just read that book and then try and... I might have to end up loaning this book twice. Yeah, okay. Let's get back to reading. I just got to chapter 29, but I want to say that last night while I was reading, we got to the part where Rowan came back, and I can confidently say that Rowan is literally one of my favorite characters in the whole entire series so far. Their chemistry between him and Aelin are so cute because of all the bickering, but also they have some kind of internal connection. I mean, if you read the book, you know why. And just having him back just makes me so happy. I really hope nothing bad happens to him, because Aelin Selena/Alien has a habit of people dying around here that she cares about, or bad things happening to the people around her that she cares about. So I'm kind of scared to see what happens. I really hope nothing happens to him. I really hope he survives the rest of the series. I'm gonna be so sad if he doesn't. So I just got to part 2 of Queen of Shadows, and the events that just happened are, I can't believe it. I think there's going to be some kind of plot twist or some kind of missed detail that kind of messes up what had just happened. The execution, the finality of what just happened, I don't believe it. I think whatever just happened was not supposed to happen until towards the end of the series, but it's happening now, and I'm confused. I really want to hope that this is the way it is, and that there wasn't some kind of plot hole or missed detail, or like during the planning that they've been tricked and this is all fake. I don't know, but all I can say right now, all I am feeling is that I don't believe it. I really don't believe it. Something does not feel right. Like, this is too sudden for me. I didn't think it was gonna happen because there are just so many talks and so many plans for it to happen, and then now it's happened, but we still have 3 more books after this, so I don't understand. Yeah, okay, we're gonna keep reading. I'm gonna continue part 2 of Queen of Light, so I wonder if you're feeling the same way when you got to this point. Okay, it's not just me, right? Something's going on. Okay, so today is Saturday, and I did a little damage. Jamie and I went to do some errands and shopping and stuff, just have a fun day and actually feel like we have lives. And so I went to Barnes & Noble, and I did get a new book and a puzzle, and I wanted to show you guys. Oh, also, I guess let me give you an update on Queen of Shadows. I believe I am 75% of the way there, about 75% of the way through Queen of Shadows. Well, the last clip I was saying that I don't believe the thing that happened actually happened, and as of right now, it did happen. So I guess there is no plot twist. What if something else happened? What if something smart Abby happened in the back that we don't know about yet? But no, I think it happened. So that's crazy considering we've still got 3 more books after this. But anyway, Barnes & Noble. So the puzzle that I got is this one, and I think it's really cool. So I just finished reading Tress of the Emerald Sea, and it involves pirates and her being in a world where there's an ocean made of spores, not the water that we know of. And I just thought this was really cool. Like, look at the colors on this. It's so mystical, and I am in the middle of trying to figure out what kind of vibe I want for my nook room, reading room, book theme, bookish room, whatever. And I'm kind of just all over the place right now. I think I want to go for like a mystical fantasy with greenery, but I don't really know how to do that because I've never actually decorated a room before. Like when I was growing up, I didn't decorate my bedroom, so this is new for me. And I think this puzzle would look really cool on a wall. This is 70 by 50 centimeters, 1,000 pieces, and it came with a poster. So I'm wondering if the poster is like the exact same photo as the puzzle. I really hope not. I hope it's a different kind of poster, and I do like the Clementoni puzzle brand because the pictures look more lifelike and real, and I think it's really good quality. And then I also have this other puzzle that I just framed of some mountains, a boat, and a lake, and it's also from Barnes & Noble. I can go show you right now, actually. Let me go get it. Okay, so this is another Clementoni puzzle that I did, and I've done this puzzle twice now, but now that I finished it this time around, I went ahead and Mod Podged it and put it in this frame, and I know it doesn't fit the frame exactly because I'm not willing to spend the kind of money it takes to get a custom sized frame, but I think it fits pretty well. And I like that it's a glossy. I almost didn't get this frame, but Jamie said that I should probably get something fancier, so I did, and I don't regret it. Very, very nice. So I do plan on framing this pirate monster octopus attacked one as well. And look, there's a castle in the back. Isn't that so cool? I don't know. My genre is changing. Wow. Wow. Okay, there's the puzzle. And then this book that I got is kind of in remembrance of whenever I went to Iceland, because there's a book there that my cousin got that is Iceland related. And now I'm thinking, should I have gotten an Iceland related book? Because right now the only book that I have is the Yule Lads. I can get that and show you really quick. So this is the only Iceland book I have as of right now. I got this from the bookstore in Iceland. It's called The Yule Lads, and it's just about the 12 trolls that prank people every day of December leading up to Christmas. And I think that's really cute. And so this book is related to the Norse myths and tales, literally the title, Norse myths and tales. And I kind of, like I said, I'm going for a mystical fantasy-like theme for my room, like all things reading and stuff. And so this one's only $12, and I think this color is cool, and it's kind of going with the same color scheme as the puzzle, so I just had to get it. I'm really happy with my purchases. This is it, and the only thing that kind of intimidates me about this book is when I flip through it, I realized that all the fonts were tiny. Every single page, it's crushed. It's squished, tiny letters. And so this book was originally $30 MSRP, but now it's $12. So I had to get it. And then the last thing I want to show you is I also stopped by the library on the way home, and I got Phantasma. And I have some friends, I read this a couple of months ago, and they were talking about it, about how they liked it so much, and it's about falling in love with a ghost. And I'm thinking that's kind of an interesting topic. And this book is obviously from Book of the Month, so I'm thinking if this book was chosen as Book of the Month, then it's probably really popular. And I couldn't find it anywhere on Libby. It was on Kindle Unlimited, I believe, but I didn't have my subscription anymore, so when I saw this in the library, I just grabbed it. And this is the only book that I rented from the library, and I'm kind of excited. I am kind of excited, even though I don't really like physical books anymore, but this is the only way I can read it, so here it is. Well, anyway, I just wanted to show you everything that I got today. Let's get back to the Queen of Shadows reading vlog. So I officially finished Queen of Shadows, and I want to say that I could definitely tell that it was a longer book than the other books in the series. And yesterday, whenever I did that shopping where I bought my new puzzle and that new book, I did look at the sizes of the book, and Queen of Shadows was pretty thick. But what's even more wild is that I also looked at the size of Empire Storms, Tower of Dawn, and Kingdom of Ash, and they're even bigger books. So I don't know how long it's gonna take me to read those, but that means there's a lot of detail in those books. And so to wrap up Queen of Shadows and my thoughts on it, 2 events happened. I mentioned it before where I said that I couldn't believe that it actually happened. I think there's some kind of loophole that's gonna come back and bite us, and there's gonna be a plot twist where the thing that happened didn't actually happen. But now that I finished the book, the thing that happened really did happen, because we never came back from it. And then the second major event that happened, it just like took it over the top. Like, I can't believe these things are happening, because these 2 events, the fact they happened in book 5 when there are still 3 more books after this one, is crazy, because you would think that these things should have happened at the end of the series, towards the end of the series at least. But we still have 3 more books, and I honestly don't think I have enough, I guess, experience in fantasy books, because I did not realize that all that can happen and there still be 3 more books after these things happening. So I guess that just means I've been reading really simple books lately. So much is happening, and I can still say that Rowan is my favorite, and I'm so happy that the relationship is budding, and it's very much a slow burn, 100%, but I am all here for it. And thinking back to the past romances with like Dorian and Kale, I'm kind of really glad that they didn't happen, because Kale, he was my favorite character reading Throne of Glass, but obviously because that was my first time meeting him. But now that I'm 5 books in, I'm like, I don't think that way anymore. But it's because events have changed both of them, both him and Selena / Aelin. So that's all I have to say. For my rating on Goodreads, I did end up giving it a 5 out of 5 stars, just like all the other books in the series so far, because I think her building up to the end of the books is actually really well done, and she puts a lot of detail into her characters and the thought processes, and the way that she writes also keeps it flowing very nicely. There are only a few times where I had to reread sentences to make sure I could understand who was speaking and what point of view we were in. It wasn't that hard after I reread and like just try to keep track of who was who, because there are a lot of characters in this story. And the only reason why I could have given it a 4 out of 5 stars is because Queen of Shadows wasn't as exciting as the first 4 books, because I can confidently say that Air of Fire is my favorite. Lots of events happened there and it was so cute, it was so fun to read through. And then Crown of Midnight. Throne of Glass was like the introduction to the world. Crown of Midnight was like getting to the dark side of things, and then Assassin's Blade was the background. But this book, it just felt like it just had to happen to get to these next 3 books, which is totally fair. That's why I'm not critiquing her for it. Even though it wasn't as exciting as the first 4 books, it's still necessary that all these things happened to get to the next 3, even though I literally don't know what happened in the next 3 books, but that's fine. So yeah, I end up getting it 5 out of 5 stars, and I honestly think this entire series is going to end up as a 5 out of 5 series. I hope. And so with that, the last thing I want to say is that I had ultimately decided not to tandem read Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn. And that is because I actually do, after reading Queen of Shadows, I do regret having read The Assassin's Blade after Air of Fire. Because while I was reading Queen of Shadows, I was kind of on the fence, like, do I regret it? Not really, because it kind of still makes sense either way. But now that I've finished Queen of Shadows, I want to say that reading Assassin's Blade after Air of Fire broke the flow of the story, because like I said, Crown of Midnight has that natural break at the end of it before you get into Air of Fire, so it actually really was the perfect time to read The Assassin's Blade. And because I took that break between Air of Fire and Queen of Shadows and having read Assassin's Blade between it, some of the events in Air of Fire that I needed to remember to understand Queen of Shadows, I just completely forgot. Like, there's some characters that I cannot remember because of that break between the Assassin's Blade, and because I had spent so long waiting for the Assassin's Blade to be released to me on loan after Air of Fire. Like, I think it's been a couple of months since I finished Air of Fire. I have to look back again, maybe like a month or 2, but it was enough time for me to forget. So I highly recommend just reading in publication order. And so with that is also why I decided to not tandem read, because if Sarah J. Maas had the intentions of you not tandem reading Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn, then I am going to trust her. I didn't trust her with reading The Assassin's Blade before Air of Fire, and I regret it. So therefore I have decided I am going to follow her order of publication. If she wanted you to tandem read, she would have just put them all in one book, or at least like broken them and had the both point of views happening at the same time. So I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna read Empire of Storms first and then go to Tower of Dawn, even though it's gonna set me back in time. And apparently there's a really, really big cliffhanger after Empire of Storms, but it's fine. If that's what she wants me to do, then that's what I'm going to do. Well, thank you so much for watching this reading vlog, and I do plan on doing separate reading vlogs for each of the next 3 books because so much is going on, and I just want to capture all of my reactions and emotions while reading the series. And I kind of wish I did it for the other 4 books as well, but it's fine. We're gonna start now. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!